Good evening and welcome, Free Enterprise fans, to this late night matchup of the Free Enterprise Highway to the Threemus Zone table or bracket stage between pk4787 and FF4FE. My name is Xenocat, and I'm joined here in the booth by Bad Karma. How are you doing tonight, Bad Karma?
I'm a little sleepy. It's a little late for my time, but I am excited for another Highway to the Threemus Zone race. We got a really good one. This is the first match between these two. Both runners have been playing extremely well. Went through the group stage. Both went 3-0, had direct advances. And then in the tables, PK went 5-1 to get the number 3 seed. Fleury went 4-2, ended with the number 12 seed.
I just want to take a moment to appreciate PK's name for Edward.
It does make me want to go to McDonald's right about now.
I'd also like to appreciate the fact that both of our runners are using the same background color, which I believe is PK's usual background color for menus.
I mean, PK or Fleury's is a little off, or PK's is just a little darker right now. But yeah, these two are highly familiar with each other. They race offline a ton. They a lot of pickup races between the two of them, and Fleury called PK out, and when PK was guaranteed to make it, and or when Fleury was guaranteed to make it, called PK out, asking for him to pick him in the draft. So that's where we are right now.
Yeah, these two have a great sort of friendship rivalry going on, and I'm really excited to see what happens in their first official tournament race against each other.
And we have our restreamer Alisale, we have our tracker Kairu here with us, and we've got a nice set of objectives here, a good variety with having to forge the Legend Sword, the Adamant, as usual. That's been the standard objective for us throughout the tournament. We have defeat the Queen at the Town of Monsters, the Asura spot. Burn the village mist with the package. You don't have to go all the way through it, you just have to burn it, and complete the Tower of Zot.
Yeah, these are interesting objectives. I mean, Moon could be completely haunted this seed, or Moon could be totally required. There's no way to know. But with really only 2 key items required, since you're probably going to get underground access at some point, this is looking like it could be pretty quick. It could also take a long time depending on where these key items end up.
Yeah, with that package not gating anything, that package can be anywhere, including up on the moon. We've had a number of seeds here in the tournament where even that Earth Crystal is up on the moon as well, considering only 1 key item behind it. And it looks like our runners are off with this Kane start.
Kane here is joined by Porum, a free coffin from a blue robe in the Beigen spot.
That is an interesting blue robe. Can be the alt gauntlet, or it could be the water hag. 1 fight free, 1 fight gonna take you a little bit of while. And a coffin's not really what you hope to start off with, though.
Yeah, it can be really nice for some early game boss, for some of the freer bosses that don't have the boss bit, since you can use it to take one of the 3 Dark Imps out or one of the 2 Baron Guards, but not what you're hoping to see as your starting key item.
Yeah, it looked like neither runner took that Porum. I'm not surprised with that. A lot of people consider Porum to be the lesser white mage compared to Rosa, so probably runners are hoping to find a Rosa later on, as both are landing in Baron.
Yeah, both following the exact same route, heading into Baron, looting it, finding another Porum, talking with Bahamut in the Baron Inn, just having a casual coffee with the Lord of Summons.
And getting that knowledge, but also getting an exit. That's going to enable some quick outs depending on where these runners decide to use it. They could loot more of the Watery Pass, could get out of the Antlion Cave really fast. Both runners heading to Watery Pass, though.
Yeah, that early exit item is really useful, although this Tella that we see Fleury picking up, or at least talking to in Watery Pass, basically provides his own source of exit.
why spend 10 MP when you have an item, or you could just sell it. But Tela enables a lot of things for the runners. It has been a very popular pick for the entire tournament since we don't have Fusoya.
Yeah, because we don't have Fusoya enabled, he is staying home this tournament. Tela is the only character with early access to the weak spell, which enables the D-Machine grind, which is a wonderful grind where you go to the giant and summon a whole bunch of monsters over and over that you can hit with weak and then kill. And they don't do any damage other than HP, max HP percentage-based damage, so it's a relatively safe grind, and it will get you all the experience you need.
I do want to welcome the Raiders from RPG Limit Break. Want to remind you, please do not spoil the race that went on over there in case somebody over here did not get to catch it and would like to check out the VOD. These runners are showing how familiar they are with each other. Their route has been identical.
Yeah, so far we haven't seen any divergence between these two runners. Although, just as I say that, PK heads straight into Damsian while Fleury is looting the basement.
Yeah, PK probably wanted to see this character check. I'm sure Fleury will head up there as well. And there's a DKC, Dark Knight Cecil.
Not surprisingly. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, Cecil has not been a popular choice in the tournament because of that vanilla agility flag. Can you give us a brief overview of that flag, Zeno?
Sure. So, normally in the vanilla game, the agility in your party is all based around Cecil's agility. Basically, there's complex black magic with agility anchoring, yada yada. Basically, everyone's speed is based on Cecil's agility in the vanilla game. And since we have the vanilla agility turned on, that means that Cecil is still going to be the person who all your agility is determined on. However, if you don't have Cecil in the party, the game bases all of your agility on whichever character is in the middle slot. This means that you can do some really cool agility magic with that by manipulating your agility of the person in the middle slot to make all of your other characters just as fast as a boss, even if they don't actually have agility values that are on the same level as that boss.
Yeah, and Cecil's agility curve is a little bit, I don't want to say higher than most characters, but it is steady to a point where it can hit some mean breakpoints as we do finally have some divergence. PK finds some dark imps in the bottom of Antlion. That is interesting that one PK is even in the Antlion cave.
Well, I think PK, using that Boris on the Antlion, saw that had a J item, went to use it, and there is our objective Earth Crystal already.
That is 2 character checks. It is also access to the Troya Treasury early on. This is a fantastic find, not just because it's an objective, but because of that Troya Treasury is going to really help boost this team up in terms of gear.
Yeah, it looks like Fleury isn't going to be too far behind PK with his dive into Antlion. Just checked those Mysidia characters first, although didn't see anyone particularly interesting that he wanted to take there. I believe it was I know one of the characters was a Cid. I did not see the other character.
It was a second Kane, and I don't blame Fleury for not wanting the second Kane. We haven't seen a lot of Kane gear yet. And there's a third Kane.
But even spicier, there's our D-Mist.
There will be no rude D-Mist hiding out tonight.
This is a really interesting D-Mist location on these flags because a lot of runners may be tempted to, skip Mount Hobbs because there's a bunch of free characters. Why would you fight this boss just to get a character? It doesn't make sense. Why bother going to all this effort? But it can be very easy to forget since a lot of our flag sets don't have those free characters on, and it's so easy to think of this as, oh, this is a character check. But it's easy to forget that there's a boss here, and that boss can sometimes be that D-Mist.
Yeah, I've made it a habit to at least come up here, typically after Antlion. This spot can actually give a good amount of XP. PK is going to actually forego looting the rest of the mountain with that Earth Crystal in hand. I don't blame him.
Yeah, PK immediately heading to turn in that demist item, and then we'll see where he goes next. As Fleury is wrapped through the Dark Elves, or Dark Imps, not the Dark Elf, used a Gaia Drum to get through that fight, and also gets his Earth Crystal.
Rita's mom's going to reward us with a magma key. There is our underground access.
So we're 7 minutes in. We already have access to completing 2 of our objectives. What are you thinking?
I am thinking, where is that darkness crystal? And it would make me kind of incentivize a couple other checks as we see our runners converging on the Troya Treasury. Ordeals is going to be in my head, wanting to get that tele online. I would even go so far as probably to check Fabble.
For sure. But as we see our runners heading to this treasury, let's take a second to rate it.
Not terrible. Like I'd give it a 6 out of 10. And the reason I say that is because there wasn't anything that was like, I need to have it, but it had some lot of solid pieces of gear in there.
That, I mean, it sets you up really nicely for a double cane party, I will say. With that white spear and the Gungnir spear.
Both runners exiting at the same time.
Yeah. And it looks like Fleury has not forgotten about Mount Hobbs. Is likely going to be headed up there and will probably be pretty happy to find that demist. Or at least happy that he didn't fade it for too long.
Yeah, it does mean some backtracking on the routing. You would have liked to have continued on either to Fabul or maybe Ordeals after this, and Fleury's going to have to go west instead of east, but going to get it all routed in anyway, and making sure not going to miss something, going to get that magma key. It's like PK is going to go drop that key into the well and head to the underground.
But not before finding some star veils in Agro. A very important item, with something I always like to look for on these flags.
Yeah, we have...
has a couple, but it's 3 star veils are not going to get you through the whole seed.
Yeah, and with a number of bosses that are just made easier with star veils, you know, Asura, Bahamut, Wyvern, Golbez, you definitely want to have a solid pack of them. PK going with the age-old advice, going to head underground, probably going to do the check the freebies. Not quite strong enough to go up a Tower of Zot yet. Probably would like to complete Ordeals before doing so. At least I would. So probably going to dip to the Fey March, maybe find what gear's down there, see what the key item chest is as well, and maybe trigger Sheila 1.
Yeah, there's a saying in Free Enterprise that's if you have a free key item check available, go check it. The only reason you may not prioritize your freebies is if you want to prioritize doing your objectives first. Although, at this point, with these levels, Zot might be a little bit hairy, so it definitely makes sense to go after the freebies first and at least limit your number of trips to Fabul to 2.
And PK is foregoing doing any looting on the path to the Fey March. There is a trap chest in there that PK is definitely not ready to handle.
And that Fey March freebie was super spicy. That's the package. So our runners are Darkness Crystal or Pass away from Go mode.
Now I'm sweating. Now I see that, and it's like, where is that darkness crystal gonna be? We need to start paying attention to shops more. I know I haven't been really, we're gonna have to keep our eyes out for vampires and Cure 3s or Cure 2s if there's an Edward.
I have seen Cure 2s, but I have not seen any of these other items. And looks like we have some sort of Mylon at our objective Queen of Monsters spot, with CPU at the Leviathan spot.
Neither Mylon fight there is actually really difficult. I honestly would have a harder time with the Mylon and Friends version, just because that lit one, not too bad, but the punch can hurt and all the zombies are just annoying. But there's just a lot of health there.
Yeah, especially having that White Spear, which will do a ridiculous amount of damage to Mylon Z. Mylon and Friends becomes a much more annoying fight than Mylon Z there.
Troy Treasury already rated. Oh, PK did not check the job, Dwarf.
Seed is not validated.
Illusions for sale. That's gonna be really useful if we find something punchy and on Ordeals or in Zot.
Could also be useful if that Mylon is a Mylon Z, since Mylon Z likes to punch.
Likes to punch, likes to curse.
But, like, who even cares about curse? I barely even know what curse does.
It just lowers your damage by a certain amount. Nothing major. Fleury is going to give us a peek at this Mylon fight. Oh,
It's the easier Mylon.
that is the Mylon you want to see. And I'm not sure if you caught it. PK actually picked up an Ogre Axe out of the Job Dwarf Treasury.
Oh yeah, the Ogre Axe is really nice for doing a Mac Giant grind, although with Atella, I'm not sure how useful that is. But it is a pretty decent weapon overall.
Well, and with the characters we've seen, we haven't seen a lot of mages. We've seen 3 Canes, a couple of Sids, and a couple of Porums.
True. I mean, with that Ogre Axe, I might be considering running 3 Canes or 2 Canes and a Sid, if it came to that.
Yeah, and PK is going to do the Fable defense. This is a great time to do this because after running through the Fey March and the Sylph Cave, your party is running pretty low on health. This fight will fill your HP up. So PK getting a free heal without wasting any time, as Fleury looks to be doing the same.
Yeah. The free heal here, plus the fact that after going through the Sylph Cave, you get an extra check in Fabul for talking to Sheila. Really excellent routing choice from both of our runners.
PK had a big bomb, and those elements are out really quickly.
The elements can't phase change if you do all of their health in one hit.
Just a gold apple for defense, but has Sheila won, so we'll see if Sheila has the goods.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping that those are the goods.
I am as well. It's a longer check, but it checks out.
Yeah, we're not likely to see that Twin Harp done super early, but it's a really nice check because we get randomized music during it. And who doesn't love randomized music?
Oh, I know I do. There's a ton of randomized harp songs that are just really a joy to listen to, and a number of them are good toe tapping and good headbanging tunes to go about.
I mean, well, PK is headed straight up ordeals, probably looking to get Tele spells online as well as take care of this key item check. And we find another Cane here on ordeals.
Did somebody order a cane seed?
I mean, we've got a lot of weapons for him.
2 more canes in a forum? Anybody?
At this point, I would consider it.
We do have the package character that we can look. And to our RPG Limit Break raiders, we pointed out during the intro how familiar these 2 runners are. They've had very little divergence. They have almost been step for step going to the same places, finding the exact same things, looting the same chests.
Yeah, I think the only routing difference I've seen between them is a little bit of their looting. But only a little bit.
Yeah, I think PK is actually done looting. After getting the treasury, I have not seen PK pick up another chest other than the Feymarch chest.
I think there were a couple in the Feymarch that were literally right along the path that he picked up, but he's definitely been going pretty light on the looting.
Yeah, and Fleury does have the knowledge that Mylon Z is that required fight. So, whereas PK did not go in and talk to that. So that's going to be interesting to see how PK prepares to, maybe PK is banking on that being Z, or, may just plan for it to be Mylon Friends and be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, both runners have gotten through this Pale Dim, or getting through this Pale Dim on the front of Mount Ordeal. It's not a particularly difficult fight for Cane with his non-elemental damage, and we have an Octomam at the back attack. Not too scary since Octomam can be slowed down
and
after
PK
a few hits.
Yeah, PK also bought illusions if he wanted to go ahead and use one here. I doubt that since there's just the 2 of them. Tele can, blink them up if needed, but this Octomammoth is not hitting hard at all.
Yeah, with both characters in the back row, not taking much damage at all from these punches, and Octomam's only going to get slower, so.
I was about to say, I think PK still has that white spear on. Octomammoth actually takes half damage from Holy.
Yeah, it's interesting. You have no way of doing Holy damage to Octomam in the vanilla game, but Octomam will take reduced damage from Holy Elemental physical attacks and will absorb the Holy spell. Because I like to think that it's the only way they could get her to be weak to dark.
That's the theory I work off of.
Because that would only make sense, right?
That's the same reason Mylon Z is floating.
Yeah.
Can't use Earth attack, the only Earth attack in the game, if you're floating.
Makes sense to me. Also why he absorbs ice. Because he's weak to fire, he must absorb ice, right?
Yeah. Can't have, opposing elements both do damage.
That would be ridiculous.
PK is through the Octomammoth fight. Using the Dancing Dagger, which was interesting. I'm curious why the Dancing Dagger over the Gungnir, but there's a reason PK is still in this tournament, and I didn't even enter.
I think the Dancing Dagger was doing more damage than that Gungnir Spear at this point in the game. Since Cane doesn't have a lot of levels, his physical attack isn't very high, and that Dancing Dagger is just going to do that flat amount of damage. And early on, for a Cane, that can sometimes be better than any of his weapons.
Well, with Tella's spell list about to be coming online with one more minor boss fight with only 1,000 HP here in the changing room, we have a power shoot that PK wishes he had 2 bosses earlier.
And hello, Nope Turtle. Definitely happy to see Kainazo here as opposed to some other places.
Yeah, the Kanazo's main attack is a percent based on Kanazo's health. So you run a Kanazo at the Ribbon Altar, the Element spot, you're in for some spicy times. Now PK is just hoping to find that Darkness Crystal somewhere real fast. So my question is, you're PK, you're walking down this mountain with, a harp and an earth crystal. Where are you going?
I'm tempted to do Twin Harp into Earth Crystal right into Baron Inn, since it's such a convenient routing way to just get all those checks out of the way. Because Twin Harp is right next to Troya, which is where you go to start the Zot check. And then once you finish Zot, you'll be dropped off back in Baron to do the Baron Inn check.
And good chance that you'll get a Baron key as, out of one of those checks.
Yeah, and if you get that Baron key, then hey, that's another check that you can go to without taking off in the airship, because although it may not feel like it, those airship taking off and landing animations add up.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. I like the Twin Heart play now. You have, while the fully online Tella is not going to be as useful because of how strong that magic defense, getting that power shirt is going to make a number of the boss fights at the Dark Elf spot pretty trivial, as Fleury is heading over to the Baron Inn.
Yeah, we see our first real big moment of divergence between our runners as Fleury is heading into this Baron Inn, while PK is heading either to the Tower of Zot or to that Twin Cave Magnus. Looks like up Zot first.
Yeah, a lot of our runners have not been doing the harp check just because of how long it is. And not saying that Tower of Zot is not long as well, but I think PK may be looking for other characters, could be incentivizing this character check. There are 2 characters at the top of the Tower of Zot.
It's also an objective, so probably looking to get the objective taken care of.
And can burn the Village of Mist on the way back to doing the harp.
Yeah, I mean, the burn mist can basically happen at any time. There's no key item behind it, so no reason to prioritize doing that. If anything, it makes it more obnoxious because then you can't go to Kaipo without triggering the second half of that cutscene.
We haven't seen very many black mages, so it could be a black mage at that package that our runners may want to finish that off. There's a Luca key.
Yeah, Luca key behind a Leviathan at that second spot in Baron Inn. Leviathan, not a tough boss there, as that spot doesn't have very high magic. But not sure Fleury's going to be excited to dive that Luca key.
If it ends up being nothing, at least it's quick. You can just save scum out of it. Put a save at the top. Oh, hello, Wyvern.
Ooh. That's not going to be a fun boss to get through.
Going on to Wyvern Standard Time.
Yeah, Wyvern is never a fun boss to run into, especially if you're running a 2-person party like both of our runners are.
And Fleury is following PK up to the Tower of Zot after clearing the Baron Inn.
Honestly, the worst part about this Wyvern is it's not even going to kill itself with its Mega Nuke.
Well, that's just sad that he can't help the party out.
He did like a third of his health.
This being the Magna Sister spot, all the Magna Sister's normal HP is all crammed into one monster. And now PK is going to have to slog through these reflected nukes here shortly.
Yeah, this spot also doesn't have very high magic power, so Mega Nuke only going to do about 3,000 damage.
And with that Starveil on Kane, can't even get him berserked and swinging.
But I think it's much more valuable to have the viruses coming out.
Yeah, PK looks to have this well under control. Doing about 1,400 damage a round with both characters, so should be able to finish this up here shortly. Fleury trying to get the run buffering, and does get the run buffering. I don't know what Fleury's battle speed is, but I bet you it's not battle speed 6.
Ooh, and Kane taking that nuke to the face on PK's side.
Fleury looks like he may be trying to get 2 Starveils up, trying to get that 6,000 hit instead of 3,000.
I mean, that extra 3,000 is a big deal in this fight.
And that board face reflected nuke, definitely taking out Kane again. Will this Shiva be enough?
It will. Wow.
Wonder if that was press A and pray right there.
I believe it was. I mean,
Grimoire.
fortunately, the Grimoire, I believe, will not trigger Wyvern's summon counter, but still definitely a little bit of a scary moment.
Yeah, it does not trigger it, but could have gotten maybe a Chocobo, could have gotten one of the other weaker summons that would not have finished the fight.
Yeah, there are a number of summons that could have been rolled that would not have worked.
PK's through, going to give us our first glimpse at the 2 characters here at the top of Zot.
And remembers to turn up his battle speed, and there's a Black Mage.
In the Black Mage that most of our runners would like to see. Palom has a little bit better HP curve, learns Quake and Nuke a little bit faster than Rydia does.
Yeah, Palom learns a lot of the damage spells a lot earlier than Rydia, but doesn't learn as many of the utility and status effects black magic spells as early as Rydia does. Although it doesn't take too long to learn them.
And we are greeted with our third Sid of the Seed.
PK taking the Palom, not taking the Sid, as Fleury gets through the Wyvern.
We have found a few mage items, but not very many. This first fight is going to give a good chunk of experience for that Palom, though.
I mean, he has to stay alive first.
We got illusions. We got blinks.
That's true. And with most of the damage coming from Kane's jump command, not going to trigger any of Antlion's counterattacks.
Yeah, with the blinks up, this party is not going to take any more damage. Fleury being greeted with the good news that the Black Mage has been waiting for him. Chat pointed out that was French vanilla dolls in the Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, the dolls have moved to the Golbez spot today. They're tired of being just tools used for eavesdropping and instead want to take the crystal for themselves.
it's a good spot to have him too. Gonna have low health there. One quake. I mean, even a multi-target virus would probably be able to take out all of them.
Yeah, with that spot only has about 3,000 HP, and with the HP being split between all 6 of the little dolls plus the big doll, you're looking at maybe 300 damage per doll. Not going to be very hard to take them out.
And it is crazy how in sync our runners are. I mean, Flurry's levels on Kane are a little higher than PK's, but same party and the same party order, a lot of the same gear.
I mean, PK looks to be a little ahead with this check, but Flurry has cleared the Baron Inn and does have a Luca key. Although PK will be dropped off right next to the Baron Inn after completing this check.
Yeah, and Flurry does. Yeah, as we said earlier, Flurry has the Asura spot knowledge, knows that it's just Mylon Z there. So, whereas PK does not, that's going to definitely play in here soon.
But it turns out that Baron Inn was unnecessary, since that's the Darkness Crystal from Zot. That's go mode.
Oh, wow. That is going to be... Now, does he check the package?
Looks like he's trying to make up his mind.
Looks like PK is going to set up the D machine manipulation.
Yeah, diving right into this manipulation.
So, I'm sorry.
You go ahead.
Yeah. So in the vanilla speedrun, there is a fight in the Giant of Babel that you trigger an alert and it summons a dragon machine. It is weak to the weak spell, which allows for quick kills on a very tough monster. Normally, that's found by counting your steps in the giant, doing some cross-referencing on a chart, and running from battles normally. But we have the can't run flag on. So our runners can't just go up to the giant and hope to live through a fight or they could just do a bunch of resets. Instead, we had a couple of community members come up with a new way to guarantee that fight, and that is taking some steps outside of Baron, counting, figuring out based on a completely new chart which seed you are in for your battles, and that will tell you how many more to take outside of Baron before going to the giant and getting that D machine fight to pop up, which it looks like PK got really quickly set up.
Yeah, it looks like had got that manipulation really quickly, has already raising the big whale, and now this manipulation will hold through pretty much anything you do besides taking extra random encounters and resetting. So as long as PK doesn't reset and doesn't take an extra random encounter somewhere, he'll have this manipulation set up until he goes ahead and does the grind.
And PK has everything he needs to set this grind up. Has life potions, has ethers, Flurry's getting his darkness crystal. PK's just got to fill out his party, probably going to take one of these porums.
And takes a second Kane along.
We have enough gear to fuel 2 Canes, so it is not surprising to go with that. There'll probably be some hybrid strats on Zeromus. Now the question will be, does Flurry do the same?
Sticking Tella in the middle, very important part of the D machine grind. Since Tella accuracy is kind of low on his spells, but the middle slot does give a significant bonus to both a physical attack accuracy and spell accuracy.
There's nothing worse than missing that weak spell. I've had it happen to me.
Yeah, as long as you have your Tella in the middle and he does not have a curse ring on, his wisdom stat should be high enough that weak will always land.
catch it. Did Fleury set up the manipulation?
I don't believe he has yet. And Fleury looks like is taking a Sid and a Porum, as opposed to PK's double cane strategy.
I actually would have been tempted. Fleury had the extra Porum. That could be two white mages, or a white mage throwing a white spell. Not as strong as Nuke, but
I mean, it is a little bit tempting, but with the cane weapons that we have, I would say that I think the Berserk strats are a little bit faster than going with a white heavy reflect strat, because white has a very long cast time and has a long animation, and while it's definitely worth it for the damage, it never feels good to be relying on white for your damage.
oh, did PK find that Soma drop that Fleury did?
I think so. I'm pretty sure I saw it in PK's inventory. I'm not sure if he used it.
Yep. And PK is working through to guarantee or make sure that this is the right fight, while Fleury is outside Baron, gonna set up his manipulation. This will really come down to how clean this D machine grind is for these runners. A number of things can go wrong in this fight, so it'll be really interesting to see how our runners handle that.
Yeah, there's a number of ways that this fight can go a little bit pear-shaped. If someone jumps ahead of that weak and someone gets a turn in to kill the D machine before Tella gets that weak off. Or if you lose track of Tella's MP and Tella doesn't have enough MP to cast weak, or if your characters get too low on HP, because that percentage-based damage will kill you eventually.
And while Fleury is setting up the D Machine and PK is doing the D Machine grind, please give our runners a follow. They've been putting on an excellent race here for us tonight. Both runners in go mode at about 35 minutes. Also, want to do a quick shout out to our restreamer Alisale and our tracker Kairu132. This is Kairu's first time tracking, so please make sure to let them know that we're doing a good job here, and to my co-commentator Xenacat.
Yeah, Fleury showing off the rarely seen beach background in this game. There's not much reason to ever do any battles in any of these beach tiles, but it's nice to see that someone's willing to go a little bit out of the way to show off a special background.
I always got that background in the vanilla game right after Leviathan took down the ship and I had Cecil all by his lonesome.
That is pretty much one of the only other places you can find it.
It always seemed to be 1 or 2 steps later after I got control of the character.
Sometimes that encounter rate can get you in the vanilla game.
Well, and I didn't know that you could, just do manipulations of the RNG seed. I didn't even know about agility back then.
Well, no one did.
I mean, it was like 8. I was told to just level up to get better. That eventually did it.
Levels will solve almost any problem that this game will throw at you.
Need to beat Threemus? Get Cecil to 4,000 HP and you're good to go. And we have dueling D machines that are back to back here.
Yep. Parties are not the same and not set up in quite the same order, but our runners' parties are back to back facing dueling searchers, pincer attacking them.
It's almost like they're, teaming up and just fending these D machines off together.
I like that. It looks like they've got each other's backs.
I won't lie, I am a little sad we did not find an Edward.
Well, I mean, Edward strats are pretty slow. I think even doing this long D machine would be faster than sitting through Eddie strats. Plus, we have to take out that Mylon Z.
True, but I was just thinking more because PK named his Edward Fleury. Like the McDonald's Fleury.
Oh yeah, that would be nice. It would be nice to see Fleury in the party. Looks like PK is wrapping up the grind. Used weak on the Searcher, knocked down Tella.
Now, I always lose count after the first one. I have no idea how many PK did, but this was a really quick one. 500k XP.
That's going to be enough for anyone getting a slingshot. Not sure. Don't think it's going to be enough for that Palom to get nuke, but will be enough to get Porum all the levels she needs.
Yeah, I don't think PK is banking on Palom doing the work here.
Yeah, Palom can toss some viruses or level 3 elemental spells in the final fight and probably be okay. Hit damage. Palom's really here just to be a little bit of extra damage. She's not going to be doing the big work in the final fight.
Yeah, Palom will help out with that Mylon Z fight. Can throw out the fire threes. But yeah, not going to get enough XP to be slinging nukes during the Threemus fight.
And that's okay.
Not every Threemus needs to be microwaved to oblivion.
No matter how fun it may be, you don't need to microwave every Threemus. Sometimes Threemus just needs to be whacked a bunch with sticks.
Somebody needs to meme and put the spear back on.
I mean, you know what they say about spear?
Best spear?
Spear, best spear.
So we do want to remind our viewers, this is the first match. This is a best of 3 between these two runners. So the winner here will take a 1-0 lead. I believe I should have had this way more prepared.
It's okay. You didn't anticipate how jetty the seed would be.
I did not. Their next match is on Friday at 10 p.m. again. Thursday. Wow, I cannot do math this late at night. The 22nd at 10 p.m.
PK taking the in just to make sure he gets full healed, equipping up for this Mylon Z fight. Looks like swapping all of the Kane's equipment that didn't get slingshot to give all the best equipment to the Kane that did get the slingshot.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. I'm pretty sure it'll pay off.
Yeah, you generally want to stack all of your best gear onto one person to have one character do the most damage they possibly can. And it helps if that character is higher level than the rest of your party.
I think that was 9 levels?
I think it was an 8 or 9 level difference, yeah.
Now this spot will give another 30-ish K, so another level or 2.
Well, I think it's 30k with 10 key items, so probably only like 18k, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Without the bonus, since our runners are nowhere near 10 key items.
Yeah, our Alicel pointed out earlier that she just wants to go to bed, so that's why she just rolled a really jetty seed.
That's fair, you know? Bedtime is good. I like sleep.
Oh, sleep is amazing. Especially in Final Fantasy IV, the sleep spell, man, you don't even get woken up when something hits you.
Yeah, it's actually quite annoying when you get put to sleep in this game. Tell is taking a nap at the end of that fight as PK completes his second objective and gets just another Dragoon Helm from the Mylon Z fight.
Yeah, and it looks like Fleury is wrapping up his grind as well.
Looks like got a little bit more experience from this fight. Still, although with that Palom getting oh, I see why he took Sid now. Palom got a slingshot on this fight.
Oh, that is... yeah.
That's a very heads-up play from Fleury. So Fleury's Palom is going to have nuke.
And beyond nuke, too. That's going to be...
some ridiculous levels that we're looking at on both the Palom and that Porum. That Porum learned life too. Porum never learns life too.
That is a very heads-up play by Fleury there.
Yeah, super heads-up play taking that Sid to get that slingshot on the Palom and the Porum, since he had knocked Palom down for that Antlion fight. And as long as you have 3 characters that are 5 levels or more above your other 2 characters, then those other 2 characters will get the slingshot. And, well, for PK it was one of the Canes in the Porum. For Fleury it was the Palom in the Porum, who are really the characters who need the slingshot the most.
Yeah, I believe I saw that Porum was 57.
Sounds about right. Plus, that level 57 Porum is a great agility anchor if you want to go for the 28 agility breakpoint.
Yeah, and PK is probably going to have about a 2.5 minute lead here, I think.
Yeah.
Both runners do have to walk the moon. PK's going to be into the Zeromus fight first. So we'll have to see if this powered up Palom and Porum will be able to help Fleury catch up.
Yeah, Fleury is definitely going to have a much safer Z fight with a Porum with much more HP, plus having access to that nuke, which can make a huge difference in a Z fight.
Yeah.
Plus having a Sid with a lot of HP never hurts.
Yeah, and PK is probably going to be relying on Berserker Stress, so it's going to have to chew through the entire HP pool of Zeromus, whereas if Fleury goes Reflect, then only has to get through half of it.
With only 2 mages, I wouldn't feel confident in doing Reflect. Tella doesn't really count as a Reflect mage, especially when he's been left down at level 22.
Could Berserk the Cane for a while and kill him off, or...
Unicorn strats?
Hey, I think they found a unicorn.
It's a possibility.
Let's see how quickly Fleury gets through this Mylon Z fight. PK was through pretty fast with that White Spear.
Fleury having the White Spear as well shouldn't take very long, especially with Palom's nukes helping out.
casual 6 and 5k damage flying out. You know, we're busy.
This is just what happens when you're a boss and you're weak to everything. You take too much damage.
Miles Z just rolls into work and be like, man, I hope that party that fights me just uses ice.
Yeah. But it can't be a Blizzard Sphere because no, he's weak to that because because it hits the flying weakness and flying weakness overrides the ice resistance. He just really wants Kane to hit him with an ice brand.
That's all he can hope for. But PK is making the walk. Is he gonna swag it or is he gonna safety save?
Gonna take the safety save. Definitely don't blame him with slightly sketchy HP levels on the Palom and even the Porum. Even with that slingshot, Porum is still looking could go down to a nasty big bang.
And chat seems to be really insistent on waving these flags. I you know what these flags are about, Xenocat?
It looks like they're asking what the 27th letter of the alphabet is.
That makes sense.
Because it's like Z and then what? What comes after Z? I don't know.
It's like an Anchorman. Who put the question mark in the flag?
But in all seriousness, we have a question we like to ask when we're getting to the end of our randomizer, since we like to randomize the sprite of our final boss, because we can't move him around, so how can we make it a random final boss? Well, we can make it visually random at least. So if you want to do the honors, Bad Karma.
Whose butt are we going to kick tonight? There are over 460 variations, the majority of them done by the wonderful Scala Kitty, the others done by the creator of Free Enterprise, Boardface. Now, PK is showing off something interesting. He's talked about this a number of times on the stream. Delaying throwing the crystal out to maybe get some berserks thrown out, because as soon as Threemus changes forms, those canes are going to be swinging for damage right away.
Yeah, it's a pretty heads-up play, although that first cane missed, so not necessarily the best, although I can definitely see the value behind it. And just getting the Zerk out first, especially since you may as well do that with Kella.
Chat saying this is from Saga, one of the Saga games.
Specifically Final Fantasy Legend 2, which is really one of the Saga games.
I do not want Apollo to take my Magi, and he always seems to pull it off. And sends me to fight Odin. The PK is getting going on this Apollo miss. Fleury is furiously running down the lunar subterranean to catch up here. This is still a race. Like I said, we have full berserk strats going for PK, and PK's health is a lot lower. It could just take one really high roll big bang to derail PK's fight here.
Yeah, and with only about, I want to say 5,000, 6,000 damage around, we could easily see a double Big Bang into Medio. Or a second Big Bang into Medio, which would be a little scary.
Yeah, not a lot of magic defense on this party, so probably not gonna be seeing anybody dodge one either.
Pora might, just because she does get a lot of magic defense naturally, but it's still a little bit scary.
Kitty pointing out that she had to hand color this sprite. Being from the Game Boy, it makes sense, and it is a fantastic job as always, Kitty.
Yeah, wonderful job with the color. Really well done.
I mean, looks like PK is doing pretty well here. Hasn't taken any nasty big bangs, getting the party healed up with those Cure 4s. Palom's staying alive as well.
Yeah, looks like had triggered the HP refill, which resets the script so that he'll shake, and then if you trigger the refill after the shake, he will sit there a bit and then shake again to let you know that the big bang is coming. For real this time.
And Fleury will be getting started on his Threemus fight.
Oof. And there comes that big bang. Not too bad. Porum and both Canes are still up.
Really all you need at this point.
But the black hole coming out, that will remove the Berserk from both Canes.
And with no Bacchus wines available, that's going to take a little bit to get those back up, and it's going to cut into Porum's healing.
Especially with this direct cast nuke coming out. Almost taking that Cane out.
Yeah, the sap with the Big Bang, not going to finish that Cane off. Too much health, but, you know, Porum's going to take a little bit to be able to finish that heal up.
Getting Tella back up for some potential extra healing, I approve of this. Because even though Tella's stats may be low, Cure 4 is still Cure 4, and when single targeted, it will heal you to full, no matter what. But we have rocks.
The Meteor phase signals that Zeromas has less than 12,000 HP left.
And with the rate that Cane's swinging, this is pretty much over as we see the flash. GG's to PK, finishing with an official time, race bot time of 59 minutes and 47 seconds.
GG's to PK, and we will see about getting him in here for an interview, as Fleury is working through his Apollo misfight. And we are joined in the booth by PK. PK, GG's.
Thank you very much.
How are you feeling about that scene?
It was... It's one of those ones where, I mean, I was expecting... I figured if Fleury had run that a little bit cleaner than I had, that Fleury could have gotten the done in, you know, maybe a minute or two ahead of me. That Wyvern fight was a little terrifying and slow. But other than that, it was super linear, so it really... I was discussing it with Fleury, but it really came down to a foot race, and I think probably who you decided to grind on and how much grinding you decided to do.
Yeah, Fleury taking the Sid to be able to slingshot the twins was pretty key. Was a key difference, whereas you took the two Canes. And I normally I would suggest, you know, going back and watching the VOD, but you and Fleury ran the exact same race essentially.
I'm not surprised. You know, when you get that demist on Hobbs, and that gives you package, and you already have the Earth Crystal, so your objectives are all kind of laid out directly in front of you. I would have been surprised if Fleury hadn't have gone, to do Earth within, one or two checks differently than just the way that I generally routed that.
Yeah, the one difference and probably the time difference was Fleury did Baronet before going up Tower of Zod.
Yeah, I had thought about that. I sort of, it's a coin flip for me when I start these races if I check Baron in to see who the character is, but I had seen that Porum there. So, at that point I was like, do I really want 800 experience to get a Porum who I'm not going to take on my team right now? When I'm like, after I finish Earth, I know I'll be set down right outside of there and I'll have, sort of a better idea of who I want on my team. So that was at least the thought process in skipping it. But it definitely crossed my mind of being a check I would consider making before Earth if I didn't have such good gear on Kane, I guess.
Yeah, this seed just seemed to scream, take Kane. Take all the Canes.
It gave you a lot of options. It gave you a lot of weapons. And the thing is, and I caught like a little bit of your commentary at the end. When I have Atella, and really I don't have 3 black mages or 2 black mages or, 2 Porums, I still don't count as 2 white mages all the way. That opening Zerg strat, it actually is a really comfortable setup because it's not just that the Kane, starts swinging immediately, it's that it buffers a bunch of bonus turns on the opening round. So I managed to get 2 slow casts off, I managed to get a wall up on Palom, and both of my Canes were swinging before, the first tick where Zeromus could take damage, so I really don't mind running sort of 2 Zerkers in that position.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about it on your stream, so that's why I, brought it up. So it definitely worked out for you that it was a really clean Zeromus fight.
Yeah, that Tiara made me feel a lot safer about the levels that Porum was working. And fortunately, she really MVP'd that by living that one big bang that I didn't manage to nerf because, of course, I damage tipped right after the first shake when I went to nerf that one, so I had to recover briefly.
Well, you're 1-0 now against Fleury. You have another match scheduled in a couple of days. You guys are really familiar with each other. How are you feeling about the next couple of matches, if there is two?
I'm certainly glad to be playing from ahead. Fleury is a phenomenal runner. In a foot race with Fleury, I would give Fleury, a slight edge over me any day of the week. I'm glad I get this opportunity, to keep playing in the tournament. This is like found money at this point, so I'm more than happy to keep going. But at least now if I happen to lose Thursday or whenever we schedule our next one, it's not the end of the tournament for me.
Well, that's all I have for PK. You have anything else, Xenocat?
Nope, that's good for me.
Well, thank you, Zeno. Bad Karma, Kairu on the tracking, and Alicel for putting up with me not having audio for the first 30 minutes when they're trying to get me cropped on the restream. And again, GG to Fleury. I'm looking forward to at least one more race, probably 2 more races. And you all take care.
Thanks, PK. We'll see you on the next one. And that was our winner, PK. We will see about getting Fleury in here for an interview. We are joined in the booth by Fleury. Fleury, GG's.
Thank you.
How you feeling after that seed?
I mean, honestly, I feel like that seed was kind of boring. There wasn't really like much room for deviation, and like the one check I think I did that PK didn't was probably the difference, or at least close to it. And I feel like the pain points we both had on that particular seed, we probably both felt the same. So yeah, this was kind of a for all the grief I give him in terms of execution, like we're pretty close. So I knew once I saw Darkness, I was like, well, he might have skipped either Hobbs, because I know he doesn't like to do Hobbs often, or he might have skipped Baronin. If that's the case, go Unihorn. And then I did a little extra grind because I don't trust Forum. But it did tack on like an extra minute to my D-Machine grind, so that probably hurt too.
Yeah, I was telling PK, normally I recommend going back and watching the VOD with, this close a race to see those divergences, but you both ran pretty much the exact same race.
Yeah. It was not really a seed that was ripe for optimization. I guess the one regret I have, like, as to how I played that is, especially knowing that I have a Tella, and given like a couple practice seeds where I got punished for it, I should have taken that Sid as the third character, and Wyvern goes a lot faster, and that was really the only difficult fight I think that we've. I mean, what was that at Valspot? That was Antlion probably goes. Point, I was just kind of hoping that it wasn't, we're gonna get all our required key items in the first 30 minutes, please. And it turns out that's exactly what happened. So bummer.
Well, it does put you at 0-1 for this best of 3. Yeah, I believe your next match is scheduled for Thursday. Anything that you might be changing up for that next one, or just gonna stick with what you know?
No, not a thing. I'm happy with how I play. Like, you're not always going to get super fast go mode seeds, and it's 2 out of 3 for a reason. So just gotta stay in practice. Like, PK's taken out a lot of good opponents, so just gotta bring the old A game, or at least a B+ game, and yeah, just hope to not have something super linear like that again, and maybe guess right on the side.
I, for one, look forward to the rest of your matches. You've been running some excellent races throughout the entire tournament, so good luck to you on Thursday. That's all I have for Fleury. You have anything else, Cat?
Just want to point out that since we didn't commentate during the Eurozee fight, just wanted to point out those Unihorn strats, great work. Loved it.
Shout out to Penguinator. He's the only other dude I know that reps the Unihorn in a Z fight, and that I was actually played a little more safer than I needed to. And yeah, they're hard, but they're pretty good.
I personally can't keep track of how much damage goes out. I lose focus after the first Big Bang. So
yeah, no one wants to do math while they're doing a Z fight, right?
Oh yeah, unless I'm doing Eddie strats, no.
Well, we'll give you the rest of your eating, Fleury, and have a good night. And like I said, we'll see you on Thursday.
Yep, appreciate you guys taking the time. to do all the volunteer work. You guys are doing a great job, and yeah, I'll see you guys on Thursday.
GG's.
GG's.
And on that note, that does conclude our race between Fleury and PK. It was an exciting one. Please give the races a follow if you have not done so. Looks like we're going to be heading over to see Commander Leonhardt, who has just started up a seed. We'll also give a quick shout out to Alisale, our restreamer, and our tracker, Kyru132, and to my co-commentator, Xenocat. Please give the restream team a follow as well if you feel so inclined.
And I'm going to give that shout out right back at you, Bad Karma.
I appreciate it, and we'll see you all over on Commander Leonhardt. Everybody have a good night.
Good night.